Good evening, and welcome to Christian Fellowship. My name is Mike. It is still May 3rd, 2020. Only now it is 6:25 p.m. in the evening. Just had some dinner, and we got to get to where we can have plan some kind of meal out on a Saturday that we can just keep in the refrigerator so nobody has to cook. On Sunday, that would be another thing we could do that they used to do in the olden times. They prepared the food. Even the Lord prepared their food the day before. So we can try to get that done. I did have to go out today. I've been trying each week not to leave the dwelling place, which I've been doing pretty good, but it's coming up fishing season. And recently I went and I got some crabs to fish for tautog here on the East Coast on Fall River. And I had gotten some seaweed and put them in water. But see, in a bucket, they eat up that oxygen in the water very fast. And unfortunately, I should have gone twice yesterday, once in the evening and then I went this morning. But I lost probably 7 or 8, 9, 10 crabs. I mean, I'm going to cut them up and use them for bait anyway. But point remains, I didn't do a good job taking care of them. So I've got some still alive in the car now with all fresh water. I'll get out early in the morning, go get some more fresh water, and try to keep them alive if I can. And we'll see what happens. But when I came back, I let them sit and have a good drink for about an hour and a half. They can rebuild their oxygen levels and whatnot. So, and then I sat there and was talking to the Lord. And it's funny, I sat down and asked him, because I had to be there for an hour. I threw a cast out, figured maybe I'll catch a fish for dinner. And I asked him, I says, if it be your will, I'll have a fish for dinner. First cast, I had a bite, and I missed it, because I wasn't expecting that. I should have been more faithful and believed more in the Lord. But anyway, first bite of the year, I missed it. But then I didn't get any bites, so I didn't stay very long. And they'll be in here probably around the 15th of May, another week. Water warms up. They're on their way up the coast because they come up here and breed. And then they grow their babies to a certain size, and all the babies go back down with them. And they learn the route, kind of like following Jesus. Right, Lord? Oh, Lord, thank you for being with me. Interpret for me, Lord, will you please? I try to do that. Sometimes, I forgot to do it at the beginning of this one. I think beginning of this morning, too, I had to, I started before I asked the Lord. You got to do it exactly the other way. You ask the Lord first, then you begin to talk. Because then He's talking through you to whoever watches these. Like I said, I don't get a lot of hits. But really, if you just got one hit and somebody sent that on to their friends and said, hey, I enjoyed listening to this, and that person sends it out, and pretty soon it grows. And not so much for my sake, because I don't make this fancy. I mean, I have software I could cut and paste and put clips in and all this, But really, everything's about Jesus for me. So the more time you spend with you, Lord, right, the better off I'm going to be. And I take Him everywhere I go. He's going to go there anyway, right? So He went with me today. He sat there with me. I talked to Him. And, you can ask Him anything. He actually wants you to ask Him things. Because that way He feels more connected to you. He's already connected to you. He knows it. He knows all your thoughts. He knows what you're going to ask him before you ask it. Our minds can't understand that. It's not for us to understand. So don't even try. Just accept it. Say, okay. You know? I don't know. So it's a beautiful day here on the East Coast. As I said, I'm in Fall River, Mass. And there's a friend out there that I watched the SGT report, because if I watch stuff, which I do watch during the week, I watch all the alt channels on YouTube, which a lot are disappearing because YouTube is in a vendetta to take away that information from people out there. Some of these channels have thousands of viewers, and the stuff that they've informed them of, some of them probably have looked it up and said, wow, this is the truth. Because they're not going to get that truth from mainstream media. All the media, TV, internet, all of it, at least a lot of the internet, maybe not all, but most all, is owned by 3 families in the world. So what they want you to hear, they'll tell all those people that they pay, and if those people want a paycheck, they're going to tell you exactly what these people do. So they're slaves to basically the people that own them. They have nothing. Your good interest is not in their heart at all. It's totally the opposite. They want to make you their slaves, and if you don't become their slaves, they would just as soon get rid of you because it's a waste of their time. They think they're way better than you or me or anybody else, and that they have the right, they can eliminate because they're God. Yeah, they're playing God. Bill Gates, a lot of people in Congress. Of course, people, when you talk to them about that, if they can't see that, they're probably not want to talk to you again. And they have to see it in order to, someday something's going to hit them. Maybe Yahweh or Jesus will send them something, and all of a sudden the light bulb will go off. I know it did for me about 1.5 years ago. And then you realize that this whole life, although it comes from the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and his Father, has been twisted into a lie by the devil. Satan, the devil, whatever you want, Lucifer, whatever you want. He started with Eve in the garden, exactly as it says in the Bible. And he's been doing that ever since. And he's still doing it today. You've got good police officers, and I know there are I know some, and I know they're good people. They got a job, they got a family, they got to pay the bills. So when they're told to do something that they know in their heart of hearts is against the Constitution, which they swore to uphold, it's got to hurt them inside. They can't let that on because they'll get fired or terminated. They'll get let go for some reason. They won't fire them. They'll figure some way out, just like with Mr. Mike Flynn. They didn't want him in the White House because he had worked for them. He knew all about them. So he didn't want that information going on to President Trump. Ooh, no, they had to get rid of Mike Flynn. So they worked it up, and they succeeded in getting rid of him. But he's going to get free here soon. It'll be interesting to see what happens. At least that's what we've heard. We're all waiting. The longer it goes on, and the more downward pressure from these dictator governors and mayors and other people in the government, at some point, I think most people understand, especially in states like Michigan and California, New York, New Jersey, Virginia. They know. Georgia was another one just came up. The people know that those people are bad. they were gotten into position, they were put into position by the use of money and power so that they could control that section. That's what they did with the whole world. That's why I think they made their move now for Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030, whatever they want to call it, because they had enough people in place around the world. You ought to hear, I mean, I just heard a video last night from people that are actually in Spain and in Italy. So sad, folks. I had to tell a friend who is an Italian about his home country where his blood relatives came from. And they turned all the people that are sleeping. I mean, I believe this is a lie that went on about this virus. There's a virus. There's one every year. They took this year's virus and made it so contagious, and it's not. Is it contagious? It possibly could be, but not to the level they're talking. Because the level they're talking made everybody go in their houses, obey the authoritative people. And they got these people that report on their neighbors, their blood kin. And then the police come and beat the person up. And the people on the balconies who reported them stand there and clap. That is total sickness. Someday they will stand before the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he's going to replay those things for them. I think. I would ask him, I would ask forgiveness. He wants us to forgive our enemies and ask forgiveness, just what Jesus said right in the Bible. In the Old Testament, if you read through Yahweh, God the Father, did that quite a bit, right to the people of Israel. And that not the land of Israel. No. They're being controlled by the Zionists. They have two factions, and then the Zionist Jews are dominating the other ones. Horribly, too. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. And then Spain, they got huge problems over there. Well, you know, the yellow vests. And again, I think I put it in the last video show. The only thing that's keeping this country from being Venezuela tomorrow is a lot of people have guns. And although the other side has the guns too, it will turn into a shooting battle. And it will take a while for them to conquer everybody. And they may lose. Look at Vietnam. We had all the military might of the world. And those little people with determination, they beat our troops badly. So don't think that the underdogs can't win. I'm sure in World War II there was a lot of underdog situations where our troops rallied. The unfortunate part about World War II, I didn't know, and I always believed that it was we were fighting for the liberty of this country and our freedom. We weren't. We were fighting for the bankers who were funding both the Germans and our own country. Yeah. Our buddies the Rockefellers, yeah. The Rothschilds, yeah. They were pumping the money into Germany, and they were pumping the money into Washington. Build more tanks, build more tanks. See, because they controlled the companies that built the tanks, so they were rebuilding the tanks. These people are evil. If you really trace them back to the Bible, they'll all go back to the lineage and generations of Cain, right? Which was evil. Killed his brother. Told Yahweh, or God the Father, that he was not his brother's keeper. Okay, so. And today, they feel the same way. Oh, they know God's real. But Lucifer feels he can beat God. He must. No, I'm doing my video, Judy. Oh. Yeah, I told you I was doing the video. It's only 20 to 7. I'm going to cut down here in a minute. That's my wife. She's getting some more ramen noodles. We had ramen noodles, corn, and a beautiful steak that her daughter gave us. Oh, and that's another story totally, the food supply. Lord, have mercy on all your children here in this country that follow you faithfully. If it be your will, make sure they at least come up with some kind of food. In Jesus' name, I ask so. Thank you, Jesus. So anyway, this is the second one today. I got 2 in today. Yeah, not bad. And I ask the Lord to forgive me. Although in the Bible it says, and the Lord himself said, he told the Pharisees, he said, if you had a cow that fell into a ditch and would die if you didn't help it, it was a Sabbath. He said, would you help it? He said, of course you would. Anybody would. Yeah, they don't want to spend the money to buy another cow. I don't mind spending. I'm going to have to buy more crabs, but still, that's my wife. She was waving. Her name is Judy. Okay. Have a great night. I got a Bible study coming 7 to 8. We got 2 people in the building. They call up on the phone. We do it. So we're like social distancing, right? That's another joke, but anyway, I don't want to get into that. Some of this stuff really upsets me. And I'm fighting hard to try just to stay with him, get with the Lord and quit, just let it. It's gonna be whatever the Father created anyway. So you have a great night. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Maybe I'll do another one tonight. 3? But I got the Bible study coming up in about 15 minutes, and I'll see if I can get this started to be uploaded. Have a great night. Peace, brothers and sisters. Bye-bye.